I think number one, just a relentless dog competitor, and like that has to be at the top of the list, because to play this position, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. You better have resilience. You better be able to really lock in when it gets really hard, because that's going to happen. And so you don't find that at a pro day.
Greetings all, my peoples. Welcome to WUSA9's Quest for a Quarterback pre-draft show. Chick Hernandez, Desmond Purnell. April 25th is the day that could change the fortune of the Commanders for years, perhaps decades to come.
No doubt, Chick. It's a pivotal moment for the Commanders. This new Commanders regime has the number 2 overall pick. Washington is expected to select their next franchise quarterback with that pick. And if the burgundy and gold, Chick, if they're planning on returning to prominence, they have to draft the right man at the quarterback position.
Oh, you're saying it's going to be a quarterback?
Oh, no doubt about it, man.
Look, they got to.
I mean, what else? Who else would it be? Well, unless they trade for some more draft capital, why they have to get a quarterback? Well, when was the last time the Commanders had a franchise quarterback?
It's been a. Well, let's just stop the show now and let's leave right now. No, I mean, yeah, it's been a while. But Robert Griffin III was supposed to be that franchise quarterback. Yeah. Had a heck of a rookie season. Things didn't turn out so well. Did get to the playoffs. Right. But there's a lot of picks. Look, here's what the Commanders' cupboard looks like when it comes to picks right there. Look at that. So number 2, they got 6 in the first 100 picks. So there is some room. If you watch the movie with Kevin Costner, there's room to make some wheels and deals.
And with all the holes they showed this past season, they're going to need to hit on every last single one of those picks. And I mean, they're sitting pretty right now. Yeah, that's some good capital.
But I will agree with you that quarterback is the pick. If it's not the pick, oh, we got a big old story.
Man, fan base going to go crazy.
They will go crazy. And that's why we're doing this show. This offseason took us far and wide to analyze the quarterbacks. Los Angeles, Baton Rouge, Chapel Hill. We were the only local TV station to be at all of them. So while the Commanders get ready for their draft, the Chicago Bears are doing the same thing. The number 1 guy on the list is Caleb Williams. No doubt. He's a D.C. kid who made his name known while playing for Gonzaga High School, and now he's about to be numero uno. As part of our WUSA9 coverage, USC was the first stop on our Pro Day tour. 22 USC Trojans worked out on Wednesday. They did cone drills, offensive linemen showed off their footwork and hand placement, 40-yard dashes were timed. Clearly, all eyes were on Caleb Williams, set to be the number 1 pick in 5 weeks at the NFL Draft. Commanders brass was here, and head coach Dan Quinn and GM Adam Peters. They own the 2nd pick. Chicago owns the 1st. They had wideout Keenan Allen on hand. Big-time flex from the Bears.
They're trying to see if I'm the right fit to be first pick as a QB and go in possibly as a face of franchise. They're trying to figure out if it's the guy that they should invest all the time, energy, effort, and money into, which is obviously important in this situation.
You guys saw it today. This dude is accurate as ever. Precise. He's a hard worker. He's a leader amongst men, and he's going to do the things necessary to push a team to that championship level.
He threw every route, had zip on the ball. There are no surprises because he's been the most watched player in the college game. The D.C. native who first hit the scene at Gonzaga High School, then won the Heisman 2 years ago as just the 6th sophomore ever, I asked him if he's had time to take it all in.
Not as much as I probably should. There's not been many DC natives to come out. Probably not taking in enough, but I've taken in a little bit. It's been a great journey. You may not see it right now, but I sit back sometimes and I think, wow, I've been working my tail off just to get to this point, and working my tail off for the points after. And so I'm excited and I'm ready. I've been preparing the things I'm not ready for. I'll find a way to be ready.
And that is Caleb Williams. You take a look at the numbers. Over 10,000 yards passing, 93 passing touchdowns. Look, he's got all the cred there, right? I mean, he's doing some spectacular things in college. Now the question is, will it take place at the professional level? And right now, as we speak, the Chicago Bears own that number 1 pick.
And by them trading away Justin Fields, who was supposed to be the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears, this only paves the way for Caleb Williams to come in and take over that position. And you look at what he did coming out of high school and going into the college. Again, you mentioned what he did at Gonzaga. Had the Hail Mary throw back in 2018, the game-winning Hail Mary throw, that type of presence, that type of poise. He showcased it at Oklahoma State. He showcased it at USC, won the Heisman Trophy. People in the NFL are actually comparing him to Aaron Rodgers. Now that is high praise. What he can do with his feet, what he can do with his arm. And again, it's only time will tell. But no doubt he's worthy of getting all the praise that he's getting.
No question. And in this day and age of social media, Des, so what's the big talk about Caleb Williams? Oh, he had pink fingernail polish, and he had a pink phone. I'm like, people, have you watched them on tape, for heaven's sakes?
Yeah, you know? It's funny what they're talking about on social media as of yesterday with Caleb Williams is, Drake, the rapper Drake. He's beefing with Kendrick Lamar right now.
Oh boy.
And, Caleb has sided with Drake.
Oh.
So that's going to be the headlines going into the draft. Caleb Williams, he's supporting Drake. What is Kendrick Lamar going to say about Caleb Williams coming into the draft? He's going to drop a diss track on him. But regardless, man, the man's game on the field is disproof.
Yeah.
Nothing you can say to discredit the man and what he's done on the football field. So, again, very worthy of getting that #1 overall pick. I would be stunned if something different happens. Again, it's the NFL draft. You never know.
Sure.
The Bears could trade back and get a
They
lot
could.
more draft capital, but seems to be the consensus #1 overall pick.
And one of the cool things is the reason that Caleb Williams didn't throw at the combine is because he wanted to make sure that they had 22 guys at that USC Pro Day. He wanted to make sure his other teammates got a chance to get looked at. A guy like Brendan Rice, the son of Jerry Rice, got looked at. There was a kid, Shane Lee, who's a linebacker from D.C. He got a look from NFL scouts. So when you talk to them and talk to the coaching staff, I talked to Lincoln Riley. He's like, this guy turned chaos into calm when it came to plays. And that's what you're going to need at the NFL level.
Wow, and a selfless leader at that, getting his teammates some shine. You can only cheer for that.
Yep. All right, next on the hit parade, we take a look. We took the WUSA9 van to LSU. We don't actually have a van. we flew into Baton Rouge to see another Heisman Trophy winner in Jayden Daniels. He has all the tools, and the mock drafts have him as a commander. Actually, well, they've had at least 3 different quarterbacks with the burgundy and gold, those mock drafts. Anyway, here's Jayden Daniels, Pro Day. Jayden Daniels draws a lot of attention. Here on Pro Day, reps from every team are on hand. The Patriots, who own the 3rd pick, and the Commanders brass. Left to right, Assistant GM Lance Newmark, Offensive Coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, GM Adam Peters, and head coach Dan Quinn. Daniels has a wing, threw for over 3,800 yards this past season.
I feel like I'll be ready. It's a learning curve for everything. I'm just ready, hear my name called and then go in there and just ready to learn and, meet my new teammates.
For the Commanders, they were in L.A. last week for Caleb Williams and here for Jayden Daniels. What's the process after that for you guys?
I think you go back through all the tape, and we'll also have some visits, whether they'll come in to D.C., we'll go back out to have, a couple more sessions. So we still have a few more weeks to dig into that. It's been a really cool process to be a part of.
Quinn also told me they would meet with Daniels after the workout. What are you looking for?
I think #1, just a relentless dog competitor, and that has to be at the top of the list, because to play this position, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. You better have resilience. You better be able to really lock in when it gets really hard, because that's going to happen. At the top of it, man, elite competitor, elite.
What do you want them to know about you?
Who's going to invest in me? Who's going to believe in me? Kind of like LSU did on and off the field. As a man and a player. So. I'll say that's kind of the biggest thing, but they probably already did our homework. They know who I am as a person, and who I am as a player.
And if you want what the NFL is getting, let's ask someone who knows.
This is a guy that is a pro this past year in the way he took care of himself. You're not going to have to worry about him. He is going to be so committed to taking care of himself that you're not going to have to worry about size or he doesn't weigh enough.
Brian Kelly, who knows Jayden Daniels very well, the 12,750 passing yards, not pictured there, by the way. #1 in the NCAA in total yards per game at 412, Des Purnell. That's what you call getting it done.
No doubt about that. And I like his frame. He's about, 6'4"?
A little smaller than that, but the problem is that they're saying he put on weight for the combine. He's a little bit slight, but he's also still maturing, young guy. So the whole naysayers who say, well, he's going to take a lot of sacks and going to get hurt. Well, that's what the life of an NFL quarterback
Exactly.
is. So, I mean, yeah.
Ask Sam Howell about that. Yeah. You're going to be on the go
Sure.
a little bit. But
Yeah.
he has that mobility, though. He has that ability
True.
to make plays out of nothing. That's the most attractive thing about Jaden Daniels. But you were right there, Chick.
Yeah.
You saw him up close and personal, man. What impressed you most about Jaden on Pro Day?
It wasn't his throwing. It wasn't, he didn't run. It was how he reacted to his teammates when they were working out.
Wow.
I mean, he was the biggest cheerleader for his guys, Malik Neighbors and company. He was the guy jumping up and down, and when guys had their vertical jumps and their broad jumps, he was right there.
Wow.
That's what's impressive, and that's what, quite frankly, any coaching staff, specifically the Commanders coaching staff, is looking at.
I was about
right?
to say, if you noticed that, I guarantee you Dan Quinn noticed that as well, and those are the type of players that he wants leading his teams.
Yes.
And to be honest, we were both in that locker room final regular season game, and the Commanders, they need that type of enthusiasm. They need that infused in that locker room.
Sure,
so
sure.
That makes me happy. If you're a Commanders fan, you're happy to hear what Chick just said.
So look, we ran that Daniels piece the day it happened.
Yeah.
And then his college coach, Brian Kelly, kept saying what Daniels was going to do for Washington. People on social media ran with that like me at a free cold cut sale at Tony's Villa in College
wow.
Park. It was insane. So here's the full context of the convo with Coach Kelly. There's obviously the very real possibility that your guy could be a Washington Commander. If that's the case, and in the NFL, what are they getting?
A guy that wins. I mean, first of all, he's going to put in the time. He's going to be the first one in. He'll be the last to leave. He'll be involved in the community. He's a guy that will be the face of the Commanders.
When people start talking about him and say, well, he might be slight of size, but you've coached him. Is that an issue at all when it comes to the NFL?
Well, look, I think Lamar's done a pretty good job with his size. I think Mahomes, I wouldn't consider him a giant. This is a guy that is a pro this past year in the way he took care of himself. You're not going to have to worry about him. He is going to be so committed to taking care of himself that you're going to have to worry about size or he doesn't weigh enough because he's going to get the ball out to the playmakers and make plays for Washington.
Wow.
The last two words for Washington. People, Des, I was getting texts and social media was like, Brian Kelly knows something. He's talking to the Commanders. They're definitely taking him. It wasn't that. It was just a guy who, as you heard my questions, was coming from the D.C. angle.
Yeah.
One. Two, it's his college coach.
Yeah.
He's pubbing up his guy. He knows this guy's going to go high, top three in the draft.
Yeah.
Why not say that?
But Coach Kelly, that's a good resource. That's if you want anyone speaking on your behalf, he's at the top of the list. He talked about how Jaden protects his body. Talked about how he protects the football. That's the number one job for a quarterback. You go back to 2022, he has 57 touchdowns versus only 7 interceptions.
Yes.
It's hard. It's going to be hard for any team not to seriously consider him to be their franchise quarterback.
And a Heisman Trophy winner. Now, you've got the Gino Toretto's of the world who won a Heisman Trophy and then did bupkis in the league. Excuse me. And you got other guys. And by the way, there's also a Heisman Trophy winner on the current roster in Marcus Mariota. So that might be interesting.
You
coaches?
want to describe his career, Chick?
I don't at this particular juncture in time. That's a whole nother show, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you went to USC. You went to Baton Rouge, LSU. I got a chance to head up to the University of North Carolina. Now, unlike Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, former UNC QB Drake May, he does not have a Heisman Trophy to boast on his resume, but he is the only player in college football to have over 7,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards over the past 2 seasons. A huge reason why the Commanders are considering making May their franchise quarterback. I was in Chapel Hill for May's Pro Day. Drake said he felt he made a good impression on the burgundy and gold. Commanders general manager Adam Peters and offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury were amongst the many NFL officials in Chapel Hill for Drake May's Pro Day. The 21-year-old threw a total of 70 passes. He told us there were a few he wished he could have back, but overall, May was pleased with his performance.
Yeah, I thought I threw it well. I thought I was spinning it great. A few I wish I had back. Always, we have 70 throws, you're going to miss a few. That was the goal, to be perfect. I hit it today, didn't accomplish that, but I feel like I threw it well. I think the guys did a great job, and just trying to show different things, moving on the run, different drops, and just throwing it with accuracy.
Drake, do you
What's your evaluation of Drake May? How do you think he did today?
Yeah, I think he did real well. Compares with he like I said, he's the best quarterback in this draft. The leadership, the arm talent, things like that, and then he's just great to have around the facility. He's going to be a guy everybody gravitates toward in the facility and want to play for, and that's why I think any team would be blessed to have him in their franchise.
The Commanders have the number 2 overall pick. They are expected to use that pick on a quarterback. Drake May says he would be just fine if Washington used that pick to bring him to the DMV.
Commanders, yeah, it was good. And there with Mr. Peters and Coach Quinn. Obviously, just great dudes, great people, and excited to see what's in store. I think they got a great thing going up there. So really close, pretty close to home, and being Commanders is another historic kind of ball club. They've had some good years, and I look forward to getting. They got a chance to get back out there.
The young man knows how to speak in front of the camera. Drake May, over 8,000 passing yards while at the University of North Carolina, 63 passing touchdowns versus 16 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. And look at the rushing yards.
Yeah.
That's something that he made an emphasis in talking about during that pro day chick. He wanted to show not only the Commanders, but the entire NFL that he has mobility, that he has good footwork within the pocket, outside the pocket, throwing on the run. Now going in, they knew he had a strong arm.
Right.
He has one of the strongest arms in this year's draft. Make no mistake about that. So he definitely showcased that. But the thing that I think a lot of people walked away with is, and the thing that he said he wanted to improve on most, was the footwork. Footwork within the pocket, footwork outside the pocket, throwing on the run. He feels that he got that accomplished during his pro day.
Did we just have that with another Carolina quarterback, by the way, Sam
Yeah.
Howell?
Speaking of Sam Howell,
Yes.
he was at Drake May's pro day.
Okay.
He was there cheering him on, giving him advice. I talked to Drake May about this off camera, but I was like, what advice did he give you? He just told me to let it rip. Sam Howell just told him to let it rip. Again, Sam Howell is now with the Seattle Seahawks. And so, again, another UNC quarterback showing love to a fellow UNC quarterback and who has a chance to become a Commanders quarterback.
The best ability is availability when it comes to the National Football League. And Drake May, a durable quarterback. So that's something to look at. He can run, he takes hits, and is there for his squad. That's a big component.
And kind of like in the same thing you said about Jaden Daniels, about Caleb Williams. He does what he can to put the team first.
Sure.
I mean, to see him interact with his teammates on pro day was a thing to see. Now, I spoke to several of Drake May's teammates. They called him a leader, said he's the most competitive person in the building, always did his part to make everyone feel included. I also spoke with a man who played a huge part in Drake May's success this past year at North Carolina, Tar Heels offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey. We're trying to get to know Drake May, not just as a player, but how is he as a person?
Yeah, he's off the charts. Everything you want as a teammate, as a player, somebody that's playing for you. Very mature, really intelligent, and the best thing about him, I think, is he's got a relationship with everybody in the organization. I mean, from the lowest level guy to the highest level, he builds a relationship with people really fast and leads by example. And it was a joy to have him for a year. It's all I got to coach him, but it was a joy, and I know he'll do great things in the future.
Tell us about that year on the field. What stood out about the performance, the play that he gave you this past year?
I think for him, it's just competitive. I mean, just a play's never dead with him. We could, be in a bad look for the play, and he'd change the play and get us in the right play and all those things. He was just a kind of a general on the field, took charge. And then obviously he makes a lot of plays off schedule as well. And I think that's what makes him special.
How do you think Drake May would look in the burgundy and gold as opposed to the North Carolina blue?
Well, I think he'd look great in any color. I mean, he's a good player. If you're a coach, you want good players. I know Cliff, and he does a great job offensively. I think Drake would be a great fit in what he likes to do. But I think Drake's a good fit in any offense. He's just a guy that, like I said, he's a competitor. I mean, he's off the charts from that standpoint. Extremely intelligent, and he's a lot of fun to coach. And if he ends up with the Commanders, I think they're going to really be happy with that selection.
Yeah. Now, Coach Lindsey told me he's good friends with Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. Saw those two doing a lot of talking during Drake May's pro day. So no one should be surprised to see Drake May chosen with the number 2 overall pick, especially considering that UNC, they ran the air raid offense. You can't mention air raid offense without mentioning Cliff Kingsbury. So that's one thing, that's one parallel that the two have, the Commanders and Drake May. So again, no one should be surprised to see the Commanders go to UNC route for that number 2 pick.
Two things about the video we just saw. First off, he throws a pretty ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty ball, especially over the top.
Yeah.
But if you come here, Drake, stop leaping. Because the NFL, you're not going to go 6 feet off the ground. You're going to be 10 feet off the ground, and that landing's going to be horrible.
No doubt.
All right, look, if you wanted to take a peek behind the curtain of Adam Peters, the war room, we cannot offer that to you. We tried. They said, are you kidding? But we have the next best thing. Former Washington General Manager Charlie Cashley. He joined me via Zoom to discuss what the difference is from in-person workouts to opposed to just game film.
What do we get out of a live workout we don't get out of tape? Well, first of all, arm strength. I think you got to evaluate arm strength live, especially indoors. If you evaluate it indoors, it's going to look better than it is outdoors. So you want to have guys throw outdoors. That's one thing there. All right, now, what about things you see on tape? For example, I can remember some quarterbacks without naming names. Chick, it looked like to me they couldn't see the second level at all. They couldn't see this. So we had a vision testing program that we used that Joe Gibbs brought in, where you could evaluate the person's vision downfield. Does he have a vision problem? If he has a vision problem, hey, you might as well just stay away from it. All right. How about the guy who you're watching him and you look at it and he says, why is he holding the ball? Why is he holding the ball? Now you get him in the room, and what is he telling you he sees on tape? What are the coaches telling you? Okay. So what you're trying to do in the spring is get a firsthand look at them. This is for quarterbacks now. Okay, their throwing ability, their judgment ability based on tape and how you fit them into your system.
That is Charlie Cashley. I could have talked to him for hours, by the way, because back in the day they used to call him a POW. He would talk, but you'd get not one piece of information out of the guy. And one of the cool things, we didn't share it here, and we might share it during draft week, is that when they brought in Champ Bailey, they worked him out both on offense and defense, because he played offense in college as well at Georgia. And they didn't really work him out of defense because they knew what he was. Yeah. But offensively, they're like, oh, okay. So those in-person workouts, which the Commanders are going through this week, getting ready for the draft, is first learning about the individual.
Which is important, super important.
Very important. And then you're seeing these guys, as Charlie said, how do they throw outdoors? Because there's a complete difference outdoors and indoors, especially if you got the wind that's going around here in the Northeast. And seeing how these guys move. And, as he said, picking the brains of these guys. What are they seeing? Because those tests that they go through, they're rigorous. And if a guy shows up and goes, well, I saw this, the OC's going, that's not what you're supposed to see. So it's a big business. Also a big business. Are you a mock draft guy, by the way? Are you? I mean, because I'm not. I just not.
I mean, I'm not just super big into them. I prefer to talk to the actual coaches, the GMs, the scouts. That's
well, you got that access. You got that access.
VIP treatment over here. Wow. But for fans getting ready for the draft, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, the mock drafts.
Yeah. All right. So we got a guy. We got a guy who handles mock drafts. Look, could someone light
a light on him?
There's a light on this dude.
I see a beard.
So that is our producer, Vasilios Nicolaou, who he is a young fellow who apparently doesn't want to be shown. Is it in the witness protection program? Is that what's going on?
I can't exactly say where I'm at right now, but no,
I understand. So look, and you are a mock draft guy. We are not. We do have the access. Plus, all the numbers would just burn my brain. So you went through this. Explain how you did your mock drafts, because it's not just one.
Yeah, so I would rather burn my own brain than anybody else's. I'm taking one for the team here. So
not a whole lot to burn there.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Shots fired.
Anyway, so everybody and their mother online now has a mock draft simulator, and so I take the 4 most reliable ones, ESPN, NFL mock draft database, and I run each one 10 times. And now I took 4 of them. I got 40 simulations, and the numbers that I compiled are from however many times that player was selected out of 40.
Okay.
So I did this once a couple of months ago, and the numbers changed pretty drastically heading into this. And I think we have the graphic that's going to come up right here right now. So. And as you can see right here, Drake May, 33%.
Oh.
Jaden Daniels, 30%. Caleb Williams, 25%.
What?
J.J. McCarthy,
8%.
Marvin Harrison Jr., the only non-quarterback, 5%. So it's pretty interesting. I've been spot on a couple times in the last couple of years, so I'm hoping I can continue that level of success with the Commanders this year.
Wow.
What do you think?
Man, well, number one, Caleb Williams. 25% for Caleb Williams. The man's the number one overall draft pick. Let's just get that out the way right now. That's not happening.
Pick could be traded.
No, it's not happening.
Okay.
I mean, again, Justin Fields, I don't think they would have traded him to Pittsburgh if that were the case.
I would agree with you.
But you know what? Marvin Harrison coming in at the rear at 8%. He's going to be an awesome receiver. Not exactly what the Commanders need right now, but I wouldn't be offended if somehow, some way he came to the D.C. area.
Vasilis, you were surprised that Caleb Williams is – because we're confused on that because everybody knows, as you said, everybody and their mother and their grandmothers know he's going to Chicago. So why is Caleb Williams in that list?
Well, so the thing about these mock draft simulators, they take multiple draft boards from all across the internet, whether it's chatter on X or on ESPN, anything like that. And some of those draft boards might have the Bears trading that pick away, maybe to the Commanders, because they have, as we know, a bevy of draft picks in that top 100 there. So if anybody's going to make a move, it could be the Commanders. So I think that's what a lot of those numbers come from, that the Commanders could make a move to move up and swap picks with the Bears there and get Caleb Williams.
All right, go back into your cave.
Will do. Gentlemen, thank you.
We'll try to buy you a light at some point for the next time we do this, because I'm sure there'll be another draft next year, right?
Sports producer Vasilios, ladies and gentlemen.
Well done.
Now, regardless of which quarterback the Commanders draft this year, don't expect him to lead Washington to the Super Bowl. Not just yet. That's never happened in league history during a rookie year. But don't be surprised to see the rookie have some individual success during the rookie season. Case in point, go back to the 2020 NFL draft. Quarterbacks Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Tua Tagovailoa headlined that draft. The team's success wasn't there, but you could see their potential early on. Let's take a look at the numbers. Joe Burrow right there during his rookie season. The team went 2-7-1, but he completed 65% of his passes, 13 touchdowns versus 5 interceptions. Look at what he's doing this past season. Again, he was injured, but he went 5-3. The numbers only go up, 67%, 15 touchdowns versus 6 interceptions, and he's already played in the Super Bowl. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. And here's the deal, because fans, this is what fans do. They go, we got to have it now.
Yeah.
But you can't. When you evaluate a draft, it's 3-4 years down the line for most players, and especially a quarterback.
No doubt about that. Also in that 2020 draft, you got Tua Tagovailoa during his rookie campaign. Didn't even start the season off as the starting quarterback, but when he got his time, he made the most out of it. 6-3 as a rookie.
Look at that.
64% passing completion percentage. You go to this past season, a record of 11-6, 69, almost 70% completion percentage. What more do you want? 29 touchdowns, 14 INTs. It's
a good ratio.
Hey, you remember what he did against the Washington Commanders this past season?
Yeah, sure.
Man,
yeah, painful.
Half of those yards. Half of those touchdowns came in that game. So, moving right along, Justin Herbert from the Chargers. Rookie season, 6-9, 67 completion percentage, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He was letting it loose. Going to what he did this past year, you see the interceptions. They've gone down considerably. He's still completing 65% of his passes. So all in all, guys, it didn't happen overnight. Give these quarterbacks some time, but you should be able to see why they're selected at the places that they were selected.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give them time. It's simple as that.
Baking the cake,
but
yo.
that's not the way that the fan base is. They're going to want results right now. Same thing with the head coach, Dan Quinn. Same thing with Adam Peters.
Yeah.
We want it now. But folks, it is a different regime. You and I have walked in that building. You don't have the frame of reference because you just came over from covering the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But
I know Coach Quinn very
right?
well.
Yeah, but so and I'll get to that in a second. But walk into the building in Ashburn for the last 20 years, people didn't look you in the eye.
Wow.
They said, "Hey, how you doing?" and they move on. Now, when you walk in the building, it's, "Hey, how you doing? How can I help you?" And it's a completely different culture. Does it equate to wins? I don't know, but I can tell you walking into the building and players want to come and play for this franchise now. You saw all the free agents, Bobby Wagner, Austin Eckler coming in. Yeah. It's not just for the cash because they're seeing what's going on. That's a huge deal to have guys that want to come because that has not been the case with this franchise. And you covered Dan Quinn, right?
Yeah, and again,
what do you think they're getting?
They're getting I can't put it into words. You have to feel good about what you're doing. You have to feel good about the people that you're working with. The morale has to be high. When we finished the season this past year with the Washington Commanders, when we were in that locker room talking to the players as they were packing up their lockers, that sounded like a defeated locker room, guys. They all talked about how change was needed and how they couldn't wait for it. Well, change is now here, and in Dan Quinn, you have someone that values players as individuals. He's invested in them. He wants to see them succeed. He's going to do his part to help them succeed. He's a defensive-minded coach, but he's invested in all three phases of the game. I saw it firsthand when he was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Again, it didn't take him much time when he was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons to lead that team to a Super Bowl. So regardless of the success, the wins and the losses, the players are going to run through a wall for him because he reciprocates. He gives you what you give him. If you give him 100%, I guarantee you he'll double it.
The bar is low, by the way, when it comes to Commanders coaches. The last Commanders coach, I hesitate to say this.
What you got, man?
The last Commanders coach to win a playoff game.
Okay.
Any guesses?
Well, I know it wasn't Ron Rivera. I'm sorry. Sorry, Coach. I'm sorry, Coach. That slipped out. I'm sorry.
His name is Norvell Turner. Norv Turner is the last Commanders coach to win a playoff game. So, yeah, the bar is low.
It's been a minute.
And now they're playing 17 games. So the Commanders, we said this at the top, they have 6 picks in the top 100. What are the other needs you think that they should address as we take a look at those picks one more time? You see 6 picks in the first 100. We know at number 2, they're getting quarterback. Yeah. Desmond Purnell, you are the GM. Pick 36 or 40. What are you going after?
Man, considering how the Commanders were towards the bottom of the league and getting pressure on the quarterback, sacking the quarterback, I'm looking for a defensive end, someone who could come in immediately and make a difference. But if they were to go offensive line, protect their their first-round draft pick at quarterback, I wouldn't be upset with that either.
Yeah, I'm saying protect the quarterback. Get somebody that can protect the quarterback because that quarterback got hit. Here's the other, I call these guys the 4 horsemen. Lance Newmark there, the assistant GM on the left, Cliff Kingsbury, OC, Adam Peters, GM, and Dan Quinn. These guys will be in the war room. WUSA9 is the place to be.
No doubt. It's your home for Commanders coverage. We will be all over the NFL draft. Coverage begins April 25th. Chick will be live from Detroit, home of this year's draft. I'll be in Ashburn at Commanders headquarters. We'll hear from Commanders draft picks, whoever they select at the quarterback position. We'll talk to head coach Dan Quinn and company. From head to toe, we got you covered. It all starts on April 25th right here on WUSA9 and WUSA9.com.
For Des Purnell, I'm Chick Hernandez. Commanders fans, big deep breath, relax. The draft is coming. Good times are ahead. Thanks for watching.